Mr. Chairman, I'm reminded of a story I heard some time ago about Jefferson explaining to somebody who came to Monticello and asked him, "You have those busts in the entryway. Why do you have Hamilton facing you?" And he said, "You don't agree on anything." And two people who clearly believed in education, literacy, and thought higher education was important. And Jefferson's response to why he had Hamilton there, when they said, "You don't agree with him on anything," he said, "That's why." So in that context, I find this frustrating because I think of higher education in the context of America, and being a Californian with a district with a lot of alumni and staff from the University of California, because my district is right next to it, is having this free expression. It should be joyful, just as Jefferson mentioned, that Hamilton and he would fight. But it's become so politically us against them, without the acceptance that they might be right occasionally. I just want to make sure my colleagues aren't saying I think they're right, maybe occasionally. So, Mr. Sykes, in that context, how do we create an open environment that, in education, that people, irrespective of their ideological beliefs, feel that they can have an open discussion? And this is also in the context of money and politics and in higher education.
Thank you so much. Yes, I mean, there's so much that universities can do to foster an environment of free expression and understanding. Making people feel welcome, making people feel comfortable is a part of that work as well. But of course, they cannot do that by eliminating views that are controversial. And so we have worked with universities. I'm a professor at a university myself, and there's all sorts of things that teachers can do on the classroom level, deans can do at the departmental level, and universities can do at the institutional level to improve this situation. The problem that we're seeing now is the political branches trying to intervene, right, and determine what types of ideas can be expressed and learned about in these higher education institutions.
And you mentioned social media. This had a huge impact, obviously, as a member from the Bay Area. Could you go a little further on that, as how that's impacting higher education and First Amendment abilities?
Sure, Your Honor.
And the fact that the social media companies are, until recently, have been very impervious to any kind of liability for the consequences of how people use social media.
Yes, Your Honor. As we said, the First Amendment binds government and therefore does not bind social media companies. They have their own First Amendment rights. But these are tough questions about sort of how do schools balance their responsibility to keep campuses safe while also having an obligation to respect all viewpoints. I'll just say the ACLU has recently advocated for free speech rights of students and professors, talking about Gaza, talking about all sorts of issues within the United States. I even wrote a brief recently in a case involving a self-described white Christian nationalist law student. And so even for the most abhorrent types of views, we need to be vigilant in making sure that we create an environment where ideas are open to being tested.
And how does ACLU get their funding? Where do most of your funds come from?
Mostly from small donors.
Okay. Mr. Lefter, you get a lot of funds from very large, not unsurprising donors who support your position. Is that where most of your funds come from?
Primarily from smaller individual donors.
Do you have a percentage?
I don't know that.
Okay. Mr. Horace, how do you pay your mortgage?
Well, most of it comes from student fees. And so one of the reasons why we need this bill is they shouldn't be paying for litigation against their host institution. They should be paying for tuition, and it should be applied to help them get through college. So this bill will help strengthen those relationships of the students with their institutions by being treated fairly.
Okay. Mr. Breyer, you have anything to add on any of the questions I've asked, social media, or just how we keep this balanced and where your funding comes from?
Thank you. Well, our ACTA Gold Standard, as I've said, has 20 policies that we recommend colleges adopt, and we think putting all of these in place would protect free expression for everybody on campus. As far as our funding, it comes from a variety of large and small individual donors, as well as some grant funding from foundations.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Thank you.